So I've always been interested in art ever since I was a child. It's always been something that I've been really passionate about and something that I just enjoy. And I've always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to be a full-time artist. And then, as I'm sure a lot of people did, during the pandemic, I sort of reflected on my life and what I wanted to do and my goals. And I decided that I wanted to dedicate my time and all my passion and efforts into being a full-time artist. So that's what I've done and am doing moving forwards. Initially, it just started out as one butterfly, which I created using bioresin because it was slightly more environmentally friendly, and it also allowed me to create something that was really delicate but also quite strong. So initially, I was more interested in the material than I was the actual butterfly shape. However, I took my test piece and I showed some friends, some family, and also some other artists just to get their opinion on what they thought of it and how it felt and how it looked and how it sort of shone in the light and the colours of it and things like that. And what I actually found is that people really connected with the shape of a butterfly and it actually being a butterfly. And so from there, I made more. And this happened sort of towards the start when I just sort of left teaching and I wanted to pursue my art full time. So I set myself a goal of exhibiting my artwork to the public. And I found a dark space that was available. It was actually in the Oxo Tower in London. And because it was a dark space, I needed to make an artwork that was going to be bright enough for people to see it. So one of the things I started to think about was introducing light into my artwork. And that's how sort of the UV inks and the UV light ended up being part of the butterflies. So with that exhibition, I initially got to the venue and I thought, oh my gosh, nobody's going to come and see my work. I've travelled all this way because the space that I'd been given was really high up in a dark loft, and you had to go up 5 flights of stairs and then go through another room and then up another flight of stairs, right to the back and beyond, it felt like, and it felt like no one was going to see it. But I persevered and I put it up and I installed it, and what actually happened on the preview night was that one person came up to see it and then they brought another person up, and then quickly word of mouth spread. And actually from this big group exhibition, the majority of people actually came up and climbed up the 5 flights of stairs through the room and up the next flight of stairs just to come and see my artwork, which was really, well, a huge confidence boost. And it was just lovely to see that people actually made a huge effort to come and see something that I'd made. So that was really nice. And then from there, the next step that I found was the Shine Artist programme, which just happened to be advertised and out at the right time, just after I was exhibited at the Oxo Tower. And I knew that I wanted to make it bigger, better, and develop it into something really special, which is today. Light Up the North gave me the opportunity to become a Shine Artist of 2022. And it was quite a huge deal because only 2 artists got selected and I was one of those. So my journey as a Shine Artist has been amazing. I won't lie, it has been really hard work at times. And I think for me, the more that I put into it, definitely the more I got out of it. For example, when I first started the journey, I think the most people that had ever been to one of my exhibitions was maybe sort of 300 people for one preview evening. When I exhibited with Shine and with Light Up the North, my first exhibition, my first festival, was with Light Night Leeds. And I had about, I think, around 8,000 people came through my artwork and engaged with it and enjoyed it, which was amazing to see. I think one of the highlights for me was at Lancaster for their light night, which when I did go and look round and have an initial site visit with George, the light producer, who was really, really helpful and great, he sort of suggested that we might have a queue outside the building where my art installation was inside, outside the church, which was St. John's the Evangelist. And when he said a queue, I was imagining maybe 100, 200 people outside, but actually across 2 nights we had, I think, 9,000 people came, which was amazing. And that actually meant that people were queuing around the street, and they actually queued for 2 hours just to see my artwork, which was amazing. And it was really nice to see that people were coming in, and on their way out, they were saying, wow, that was worth it. I really enjoyed it. You know, are you going to be coming next year, and things like that. And that was, for me, that was a real confidence boost. And what it's all about is making people happy and seeing them enjoy their city. As a Shine artist, I exhibited in 4 different cities. So that included Manchester at Salford Quays. So that was Light Waves. Then Light Night Leeds in Leeds. Then Light Up Lancaster in Lancaster. And finally Lightpool in Blackpool. In Blackpool, I actually exhibited Butterfly Cluster on the side of the Grand Theatre in Blackpool, which was quite an impressive thing to be able to do, because I was trusted with such a delicate and really well loved by the public building in Blackpool. So that was really amazing. And I also, while I was in Blackpool, got to go around the Lightworks in Blackpool, which was really cool as part of as a Shine artist, which I got to go into the workshop and go and see all the things like the 3D printers and all the contemporary light artworks, and also all the traditional lights that have been around. Some of it were, I think, were older than 100 years old, which is quite impressive to say. They keep showing them year on year and they look after them. So that was quite nice to see. In Manchester at Salford Quays, I actually installed it on the side of a water tower, which was a really unusual shaped building. And it was quite tricky initially to design it and how it was going to work. And one thing that I was really pleased about was that both in Blackpool and in Salford Quays, the weather is, I'm sure you'll know, pretty bad at times. So it's really, really windy. It rains, you know, there might be storms, etc. And I was really pleased that my artwork was fine in all weathers, and it didn't blow away at Salford Quays, and it didn't blow away in Blackpool. So that was a big thumbs up from me. Each location that I had to exhibit in had its own challenges, and because they were so varied. For example, Leeds, for that installation, which I called Butterfly Cluster, that actually was stretched across a large framework that was, I think it was about 6 meters high, and that was about 50 meters long. So that involved having to get a cherry picker, working with people from Leeds City Council to help install and sort of direct a number of people in how to put my artwork up. So it took me 4 days to install Butterfly Dream inside the St. John's the Evangelist in Lancaster. And that was due to the fact that I had over 2,000 butterflies to string individually by hand onto a net with invisible string, which in a dark church where there's not much light is quite a difficult task, but I managed it. And that I was really proud of that artwork, actually, because even the light producer, George, was surprised at how many people came and queued up to see my work on the actual light night. So on the first night, I think we had about 3,000 to 4,000 people came through the door, queued, and waited just to see my artwork. And on the second night, we had even more than that, which was great. And it was really nice that we actually had a problem at the end of the night where we had to cut the queue in half because the light night had finished, and people were still waiting to go in, which was pretty cool. So for me, I love how light is able to capture an audience, and make something look quite mysterious and quite wondrous. The way I use light in my artwork with my butterflies, I feel like it adds this surreal element to my work, hence why the artwork called Butterfly Dream is called Butterfly Dream, because when people sort of wander through it and experience all these glowing butterflies, it is dreamlike and it is really surreal, and I want them to know that they're experiencing something really different, and I think that adding that element of light allows me to do that. And as well as that, I think it's also important, which my butterflies do, to have an artwork that works in the daytime, in the daylight, as well as at nighttime under UV light. So my artwork with the butterflies, they are all different colours and different patterns in the daytime, and each one is unique. And then at nighttime under UV light, they're again all different colours and different patterns, but they're different patterns and different colours. So the viewer gets a second chance to reflect on all the meanings of butterflies, which is one of the things that I hope that people do when they experience my artwork. And it's also what I really enjoy about being an installation artist is that no matter where I install my artwork, there's always different meanings to it, and it feels different. And I hope that the viewers get the feeling that they're experiencing something unique and really different every time it's installed in a different place. So I think if you are really serious about being an artist and you are passionate about light, I think definitely go for it. It is a lot of hard work, and it does take a lot more time and a lot more effort than you might first initially think, but it's very much worth it. For me, it's taken me to loads of new places. So, for example, one of the things that I really wanted to do was exhibit internationally. So I went to Romania and exhibited at a light festival there called Lights on Romania, which was absolutely amazing. And I went there with one of the producers, Abby from Light Night, and Sander, which was really great to have their support with me. Throughout the whole Shine programme, you are treated as a professional. You are expected to do things like risk assessments, design, planning, development, making your work, installing your work, destalling your work, even things like helping promote it as well. And all those things sort of encompass being a light artist. And I think the Shine programme, they will support you with whatever you want to do. So now's a really exciting time. So since Shine, I've really had a bit of a boost with my art career, which I'm pleased to say. So currently I've got some work exhibited in the Royal Academy in London as part of the summer exhibition. And that was a huge accolade for me, which is something I'm really proud of. And also my artwork actually sold before the exhibition opened. So on one of the private preview nights, which is a really big achievement for me, which I was really pleased about. And I've also won the Wells Art Contemporary People's Prize in 2022. So my artwork actually gained the most votes ever for one single artwork in the whole 10 years that the Wells Art Contemporary has been running. So that was a real confidence boost as well, and a big achievement for me. And then winter, sort of 2023, 2024, I've got a few light festivals, which hopefully I'll be exhibiting at across the UK, and one actually in Europe. And then moving forwards in 2024, I'm also potentially exhibiting inside a gallery, which will be in Hull. So for me, Shine gave me the confidence to go from being an emerging artist to feel like I am a professional working artist, and gave me the confidence as well to know that now I can approach light festivals, they can approach me from all over the world, and I will know exactly how to put my artwork up, where it looks best, and how to make the most of it.